Sometimes, honestly, I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. I'm going to be making another rant video, and you know the intro. I'm just going to go through the intro. Thank you for 11K. I do really appreciate it. It's kind of weird to see the channel that was going through a bit of a slump, and then obviously the last week or two has been crazy. So thank you so much for the help, and thank you so much for the support, and let's keep growing. And obviously subscribe if you're new. Smash that like button. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Panarin. Artemi Panarin. So NHL.com, the writers came together with a final vote. They do it throughout the season, and they do it at the end of the season. The end of the season was, I guess, declared. It was announced. Gary Bettman said they will not resume the NHL season. Most teams had in around 10, 11, 12 games left. So season's over. Draisaitl gets the Art Ross. Hart Trophy gets discussed a lot now again. So I just want to pull this up, and we'll look at it first. The votes have been tallied, and our writers have the race for the Hart Trophy coming down to Leon Draisaitl of the Oilers, Nathan MacKinnon of the Avalanche, and David Pasternak of the Bruins in the fifth installment of the Trophy Tracker series. Stop doing the Trophy Tracker series if you don't know how to track a trophy. Bro, are you telling me Artemi Panarin is not as valuable to his team as any three of those, especially David Pasternak? Hey, Bruins jersey right here. And you know what? We're going to go over the votes and what the votes look like in a second. You cannot tell me, and I tweeted myself, that you take off Artemi Panarin on that Rangers team and they're still in this 2014 format. Versus if you take out Pasternak from the Bruins, that team is most likely still top 5 or 6 in the Eastern Conference. It's just as simple as that. And I'm going to go over my tweets because I think it explains more. But okay, so let's bring it back and let's look at the voting because this actually pissed me off even more. So Leon Draisaitl, 83 points. Again, I've talked about it. I think if this season, I want to be on camera for this. If this season continued and the Rangers missed the playoffs, then for me it would have been a two-man race between Draisaitl and MacKinnon. So I think it would have made a big difference if the season continued, it finished, and Panarin obviously carried the Rangers to a playoff spot. I think that would have been the seal deal, Panarin, Hart Trophy. But now obviously that's in question if the Rangers would have made the playoffs or not. But let's look at the voting. So Draisaitl, 83 points. Draisaitl deserves to be up there. 12 first place votes. MacKinnon, 4 first place votes. David Pasternak, 45 points, 1 first place vote. So is that a Bruins fan or what are you on? Okay, it's one thing to put Pasternak just over Panarin, but to have Pasternak over all three of those guys, like what hockey are you watching? Please tell me what hockey you're watching. I respect everyone's opinion, but what hockey are you watching? You must be watching a different sport if you think Pasternak is the MVP over any three of those guys. The Avalanche, half their roster was injured, and MacKinnon was still lighting it up. And I get people argue MacKinnon was still not getting points here and there, and the Avalanche were still pulling up wins. Okay, fair enough. Leon Draisaitl, Connor McDavid goes down for a little stretch there. Obviously, again, like I said, it was only like a week and a half. But Draisaitl was doing so much for that team. And Artemi Panarin, 95 points, plus 36. He played most of his season, or a good chunk of his season, with Jesper Fast and Ryan Strome. Ryan Strome was his centerman, and Strome had a good year, fine. But he's no Patrice Bergeron. And he's no Brad Marchand. David Pasternak is on arguably the best line in hockey. It's as simple as that. And I just want to pull it up again. Like, even Connor Hellebuyck, only 2 points. Honestly, this might be the hot take of the video. I would argue Hellebuyck is more valuable to the Winnipeg Jets than Pasternak is to the Boston Bruins. That might be the biggest hot take on the video, and Bruins fans, I'm sorry about that. But if you're looking at the definition, judging the player who's most valuable to his team, if you take off Hellebuyck and his season from the Winnipeg Jets, that team is bottom 10 in the league. I'm not even joking you. If you take Pasternak off the Boston Bruins, like I said, they have other superstars on that team, and I love Pasternak, and I think he's a top 5 player in the league in this year, 100%. Pasternak had an insane year. He was on an insane pace at the start of the year. But there's a difference between best player, and that's why I tell people to separate Ted Lindsay from Hart Trophy. Ted Lindsay, Hart Trophy. Ted Lindsay, best player of the year. Hart Trophy, most valuable player of the year. There's a big difference. Is Pasternak a better player than Panarin? Yep, in my opinion, he is. That doesn't mean he's more of the Hart Trophy. It doesn't. And that's why I've argued, just because Kucherov won that year, I don't think Kucherov was the most valuable. That was my opinion. Again, that was harder because I believe that year there wasn't that many candidates. But this year, there are 3 clear candidates. Even more than that. I mean, again, I've made arguments that at one point, Hellebuck was one of the favorites for the Hart. And honestly, I think if anything, yeah, you look at that Jets forward group and fine. But that Jets defense, man, it's a mess. If not for Hellebuck in the kind of season he had, the Vezina kind of season, it was crazy. And Roman Josi, yeah, like Norris candidate there. John Carlson, Norris candidate there. I could see them getting a 1 point, 2 point kind of thing. Josi, I was kind of surprised to see 6 points. But honestly, like if I'm looking at a 5, like they went on a voting as like a 5-4-3-2-1 basis. And it's insane that Panarin didn't get 1 first place vote and got 30 points compared to, like, for example, McKinnon getting 64. So, you know what? I have my own opinions. I think, regardless, it's kind of frustrating to see Draisaitl and McDavid getting that many. Like, I just think I have my own opinions saying, like, how can you have 2 MVPs? Like, I get it. Like, yeah, you have 2 MVPs. You take off both of them. But I feel like the MVP, the Hart Trophy, is that one player, the one player that drives. Like, for me, the ultimate, like, Hart Trophy definition, it was Taylor Hall with the Devils. That, for me, is, like, the ultimate Hart Trophy definition. If you have that type of season, you deserve Hart Trophy. And Panarin had that type of season. And, yeah, the season didn't finish, but we don't know if the Rangers, they're in a 2014 format. They did enough to be in this format. And you know what? The momentum the Rangers had, I was betting they were going to get a wild card spot. I was really betting, and that would have been the same situation. Panarin would have got over 100 points, so more points than what Taylor Hall got. And I would argue he's on a worse line. I mean, again, Strome had a good year, but Strome and Fast, come on. That's nothing too special. So I'm just mind blown at Panarin. Like, are you kidding me? Panarin, Artemi Panarin, the Rangers were not expected to make it this year at all. At all. And the Boston Bruins were the President's Trophy winners. I mean, they're on pace to do it. And somehow, man, I get it. I get Pasternak should be in the conversation. And that's why I'm going to pull up my tweets here. Well, Jeff made a good point. Artemi Panarin finishing in 5th place with 0 first place votes makes me feel like I'm watching a completely different sport from these voters, 100%. He was the MVP this year, in my opinion, and while I didn't expect mainstream agreement, I expected this to be at least a little bit closer. Man, that's like my take right there. I completely agree with everything you said. Again, do I think Panarin should be no doubt the MVP, the number 1? No. Again, there's so many question marks around it. The fact that the season didn't finish, and obviously for a guy like Draisaitl, the stretch and so much more he did overall, and a guy like McKinnon, all the injuries. There's a different take for each of those guys. For me, Pasternak is just like, he went on a tear. He went on a tear, but he had a lot of help in that tear. So that's where I look at it. And this was my tweet. So obviously follow me on Twitter, Hot Take Hockey on Twitter as well. Why is it so hard to comprehend what most valuable player to a team is? Take Pasta out of Boston and you still have a top 5 team in the East. Like I said, top 5, top 6. I 100% agree with that. And I think they would still be a top 3 team in the Atlantic. Take Panarin out of New York and you're not seeing action in this 2014 format. I'd say that's pretty valuable. Respect to Pasternak because I do think he deserves to be in the conversation. But in the bigger picture, while the Rangers currently wouldn't be in a 16-team format, Panarin fits the bill for this trophy the most. Arguably, the definition of this trophy has become very blurred. And I 100% agree with that. I think this trophy has become way too blurred. If you look at the definition, yes, I think it's a bigger picture. But if you look at the definition, Panarin fits that bill 100%. And I think he should have been at least top 3, if not 1 or 2 of the favorites. So thank you for watching. If you agree with what I have to say, leave a comment. If you disagree, leave a comment. Definitely drop a like. It does really help the channel. Honestly, every like, every new subscriber, it does really help. And I know if you're watching, you're like, who cares about this guy? I won't see him again. But you know what? Give the channel a chance. You can unsubscribe as quick as you can subscribe. So I hope to see you on more videos, live streams, all of that. This was John from Hart Trophy Nomination. Hope to see you soon. Peace out.